Alright, so I'm joined by my friend Allison today.
Hello.
Hello. And we're here to review Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Woohoo.
Woohoo? You say woohoo to that?
Hey, don't laugh.
Well, no, I'm not
enjoyed
laughing,
it.
because you enjoyed it, did you?
I did. I actually enjoyed it.
Alright, well, let me start with this. Are you a Ghost Rider fan?
I didn't know there was, like, a comic behind it.
You never knew there was a comic for Ghost Rider?
I mean, I knew after the first one, but I didn't know it actually had some kind of popularity to it.
Oh, yes, it was quite popular in its day, not so much anymore, but let me get something out of the way. I'm not a fan of the first movie. The first movie kind of pissed me off. It was nothing of what Ghost Rider should have been. I was somewhat looking forward to this one because they did get a very good screenwriter and director behind it.
Agreed.
Yeah. Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. Yeah. They are the ones who directed Crank and Crank High Voltage, if I recall correctly. They also wrote those films. I loved those movies because they're so over the top and so silly and so twisted. And I liked them for that. Now, that being said, if you were going to get someone to do Ghost Rider, these are the guys you need to get it done right. Because Ghost Rider should be over the top and silly and frankly dark at times. That's what it should be. So I was really excited about this going in. And during the first 30 minutes, this movie is what the first one should have been, but only for the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Those first 30 minutes were great because it's Nicolas Cage being the crazy Nicolas Cage, that over-the-top nut job who we love.
Yeah, it was very good because he was, like, fighting.
Yeah.
With, like, it was internal fight, so it was, like, mental crazy, like, dude, you're, like, freaking psycho. Go in the pad room.
Which is what Ghost Rider should be. He should be this over-the-top nut job. And that's what I missed from the first movie. This is what that movie did right, but again, only for the first 30 minutes. They have a little bit of a different backstory for Johnny Blaze.
Right.
But it basically picks up where the last film left off. And he's now somewhere in Eastern Europe, and this kid is somehow the son of Satan, and something about the apocalypse, and Johnny has to save him, and if he does, he'll get his soul back, he will no longer be cursed, yada yada yada. That's basically what you've got here. So let me reiterate. That first 30 minutes of the movie, where he is just tearing ass across the Eastern European countryside, is so much fun. You see him spewing napalm on people. You see him tearing faces apart. You see him get on top of a crane and turn it into a massive flaming barge and start tearing people apart.
When you see that in this movie, you're just gonna be like, oh my freaking god, I just said so much. You're just not gonna be able to say anything because you're just gonna be so wowed by the effect.
Yeah, and those scenes were great.
Oh,
but
then, so awesome.
But then, like 35 minutes into the movie, it just stops.
Yeah.
And nothing happens until the very, last 10 minutes. That whole middle section was so dull. It's just them riding around and Johnny Blaze doing a few tricks, him trying to get his soul back, and it's just so dull. And it went back to what the first movie was. It was boring.
It was like a family movie.
Yeah, that's not what Johnny Blaze is. That's not what Ghost Rider is. I mean, I'm not even a fan of Ghost Rider, and I know that's not what the property is. And just some of the dialogue towards certain parts really upset me. Like, there is a line towards the latter part of the movie where the mother of the little boy who is supposedly Satan's son, she turns to Johnny Blaze and says, "He's the only good thing I've ever done."
I've made a lot of mistakes, but Danny's the one good thing I ever did.
Really?
Really?
Conceiving the son of the devil is the only good thing you've ever done?
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. I'm like, really? Because, yeah. Wrong?
Wrong. Okay, so you had sex with the devil, and that's the best thing you've ever done.
Huh.
Now, I know what she was trying to say. She was trying to say, oh, raising him is the only good thing I've ever done, but that's not how it came off. You should have said that, which is bad dialogue writing. What instead she said, oh, he's the only good thing I've ever done. Like, no, I would have regretted giving birth to the son of the devil.
Yeah. You know, telling, oh, I tried to raise him good was, like, the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
That would have been acceptable.
But not the way the dialogue was written. And there's a lot of examples of that throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just poorly written parts of the story. Now, outside of Johnny Blaze, these characters are cookie cutter. There's no real depth to them. We don't get a sense of who any of these people are. Why should we even remotely care for them? I mean, you have a single mom caring for a kid. That's instantly gonna tug at the heartstrings of single moms out there.
Tug at the heart.
Yeah.
The protective mom.
Yeah, and that's instantly gonna pull on the heartstrings. But that's one of the oldest ploys in the book.
Agreed.
I've seen that so many times. I don't even get an emotional ping out of that anymore. Oh, it's a single mom trying to protect her boy.
It's always a single parent trying to protect their kid.
The only character I remotely liked was I think his name's Idris Elba, the black guy in the movie.
Oh.
I liked him. He was kind of fun to be around. A little over the top, kind of a drunkard, but he's fun.
Drunk, yeah.
He was fun. There are parts towards the end of this movie that really do upset me because I believe it eats away at the core of what Ghost Rider should be. And I hate that this keeps coming up in my reviews, and I don't want to ruin the ending, and I'm not. But they do something with Ghost Rider at the end of this movie, and I'll let my viewers decide if they do see the movie. They do something with Johnny Blaze that just really upsets me, and I believe it undermines what the whole character is about. Johnny Blaze is about being a sadistic bastard when he is in Ghost Rider form. He does not care about people. He is not sympathetic for people. He will tear your soul apart.
And in the first 30 minutes, you see that wholeheartedly.
Yes, all the damn time.
Oh, yeah.
But just the full 180 they did with him just confused the hell out of me.
Agreed. It was kind of like, what? But, huh? Why?
I don't know how to describe this movie besides just disappointment. I was just disappointed. I expected a lot more from this. Now, you could claim I shouldn't have because of how disappointed I was in the first one, but because they got the good director and they got some good screenwriters, I was expecting a bit better with this. And I would say this was a tinge better than the first one, but not by much. I wanted to see that first 30 minutes for the whole movie. And while that may have gotten tiresome and repetitive at certain points, it would have been what the character should be, and it would have been over the top, silly, and fun, which is what Ghost Rider should be in the end. That last hour was not fun. I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah, it was like, oh my gosh. But see, I think things were very well choreographed.
They were.
For all the fight scenes, and I think the effects were, like, really, really done well.
I'll admit
I was like, whoa.
I'll admit that Ghost Rider looked better this time around. It doesn't look like he was wearing a prosthetic rubber mask with a flame on top.
Yeah, I like that it did, like, I mean, you can see it in the partial Ghost Rider face. Like, it was, like, fighting it.
That stuff really gave the movie in the beginning a little bit extra push than the first one did. Mm-hmm. The special effects for what Ghost Rider looked like was pretty damn cool, and that was overall much better. But again, you could chalk it up to 4 years of technology, you know.
Yeah, agreed.
But it did look better, and that was something the movie did have over the previous one. But again, special effects can only go so far. Was there any particular part that just stood out in your mind as either really bad or really good?
I'm telling you, I love when the excavator turns into that massive ball of fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy crap. I was sitting in the theater saying, oh my god, I love it! Oh, maybe I should have seen this in 3D because that would have been awesome in 3D.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would have
Now that was a cool effect, but that makes me say, okay, he loses his bike, therefore he gets an excavator. You know, if he loses the excavator, he then hops on
something else.
He hops on a pogo stick. He goes from the pogo stick to the tricycle. Goes from a tricycle to a power wheel. I want to see Johnny Blaze in a power wheel. Go on. Little flames spurting out the back. His battery dies. No.
Oh man.
So all that being said, we'll give our final rating. Allison, go ahead.
I'll give it a 3 because it was lacking in plot, but I liked the effects.
This 3-star Sapphire over here.
That's me.
Uh-huh. Gotta find the even ground on everything.
Well, no, but that's a valid reason because the plot was lacking, so that kind of brought it down to like the 2 range.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the special effects, which brought it up to like the 4 range for individuals.
All
so you
right.
average them, and it's about a 3.
All right. I'm pretty much right where you are, but probably a little lower because I had higher expectations going in. I'm going to give it a 2, which seems a little low. I want to give it more than that because those first 30 minutes was so much fun. But that just speaks to lack of confidence on the part of the screenwriters and directors. They knew where this property should have gone, but they had to make it into a family film anyway. And I said, no. Don't make this into a family film. Make this go over the top. Make this into Crank. Now, you've got to have a little bit of in there for the children, but this should be silly and dark and gruesome like that first 30 minutes. That's what I want.
It was like, holy crap. I mean, if that was what the spirit of it should have been from the, I guess it was graphic novels, or was it
the comic books?
The comic
yeah.
books.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was the creators of Crank, who I saw Crank, and it was a little like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Whoa, it was like nonstop.
Yeah, I know. For those of you who haven't seen Crank,
Go see it.
Well, yeah, but just to summarize what Crank is, there's a scene in the second movie, which I'm sure Allison remembers, where Jason Statham, the main character, is having sex with his girlfriend on a horse track, of all things, in the middle of a race, and right when she's about to climax, a horse jumps over her with like a massive 2-foot penis showing. Yeah. That's how you sum up Crank right there.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't expect that in this movie, but I wanted something over the top like that for Johnny Blaze. The closest we got was him pissing napalm.
That was pretty funny.
But I wanted to see more of that. More silliness like that. More insane Nicolas Cage like that. But we didn't get it. So, as it stands, it's a 2 for me. It's a 3 for Allison. Just disappointment. So, I want to thank Allison again for joining me.
No problem.
She'll be back for the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games.
Yep. Have a good night, guys, and take care.
Bye.